Hey Cancer, and welcome to your tarot love reading. While I'm drawing your card through Cancer, and of course Cancer, you show up in your own reading. The deck I'm using right now is called the Vice Versa deck, so it means it's two-sided. So you have two different perspectives of the same card. And what I'm showing here, why I'm talking about that, because on the reverse of this card right here is actually you. And front and center is the crab. And the crab is all about Cancer, right? So this is the flip side of the card, right? We see this side, which is you. And then also Cancer is heavily connected to the moon energy. In fact, I just created some videos about the moon energy that's shared with the money making team. And but anyways, like what we're seeing here are two different perspectives of the view of the moon energy. Because we're seeing the two homes of the twin flame collective there, the masculine's home and the feminine's home. And right now, what I'm really seeing on this side of the card is that we as a collective are actually going more inwards to find out what really aligns with us. Because in what's basically framing the moon there are the towers, right? Each one of us have our tower moments. It doesn't even depend on if you're masculine or feminine in this circumstance, because we both go through our tower moments. But as you can see, those towers themselves are firm and are built on a great foundation. The reason why you have to have your tower moments is to crumble old foundations that don't serve you very well. And if you know anything about the Cancer sign, they're all about home. They highly value home. And with that crab in the front there, symbolizing Cancer, it's all about that inner work. And we know that we have to go inwards to change our inner world so it can be reflected out in the outer world. That's why the moon is so big in this. And you can see the face on top of the moon. And why are the faces being reflected on the moon there? Because we're actually looking at ourselves to see who our true self is. And when we look at other humans, we identify humans by their face. Their face is like their representation of who they are. And speaking of faces, one of the agendas of this whole mask wearing thing is to lose your identity. Because they don't want you to even have self-awareness at this time. Because if you did, you would see that the power within you is far greater than the power they're trying to project on us. Saying that we need government. When we don't need government. Notice I use the word need. But they want to project that image that we need them. But we don't. Main reason I say that is that human beings have been in this human experience for, the way I'm phrasing it is eons, because the amount of time is not the important part of this. But through all those experiences, government has been in and out. Government has been in and out. Now, if human beings really needed government would have been there before human beings. Now I'm going to help you connect the dots here, Cancer. How I'm going to help you connect the dots here, Cancer, is that if humans don't need government, then what is government all about? What is government all about? And does government even have our best interests in mind? Now, that's the image they would like to project of themselves. But in reality, where the evidence leads is that they need you. And what I mean is saying is the collective of humanity that they perceive to be overseeing. But in reality, they don't even oversee you. Because what they do is put fear out there and then put enough fear out there that we police each other. Then we have to look at then who's really governing us. Is it them or is it us? And then if it's us, why are we allowing them to manipulate us to police ourselves? And then we give them our power and knowledge willingly because of their manipulation, thinking that we need them when we don't absolutely 100% need them at all. In fact, if anything, they rob from us, they steal from us, from their lies and manipulation. And he can continuously do that. Now, in a couple of days here, I'm going to be traveling down to Texas. And I don't wear a mask on a daily basis. But I called up beforehand, the airport, and asked them if I had to wear a mask. And they say, well, it's standard procedure. Says, well, what do I have to do to not wear a mask? And their answer was, you have to see our physicians to determine if you need to wear a mask or not. Because I even questioned them, hey, if I got a doctor's note saying that wearing a mask is not for my best health, they didn't care about my health because they didn't care about that letter. They wanted their doctors to determine if I needed to wear a mask or not. No, I don't have this COVID. I've been tested. I don't have any symptoms of it. I have allergies. And allergies are different for me than, common cold or flu, which are the symptoms of COVID-19. And where I'm going with all of this is that their agenda is to disempower us. And one of the ways that we lose our power is when we actually surrender our identity. Because when we put a mask on our face, we surrender our identity because that's how people relate to others. Our face is who we are. And our bodies is just a mobile transportation of our face, to be honest with you. And everything else in our body is made to design to support our face, which holds our brain. And our brain is a main control center for the rest of our body. So basically, our body is designed to get us from A to B. Our head, basically, our brain. So it's designed to get our brain from A to B so we can have different experiences here. So what does this whole experience with COVID is for us to actually surrender our power to them, saying that they have our best interests in mind. Now, mind you, they never do. Never, ever do. Never, ever do. They only have their agenda in mind. And their agenda in mind is for us to surrender our power to them so they can manipulate and control us, so they can profit off our hard work. And mind you, that's their agenda. That's their agenda. That's their agenda down to a T. And they're going to use any means to continuously make that their agenda. So they'll find any means to do that. And mind you, they plan years in advance for this. So what they're doing now is what they planned 50 years ago. They're always at least 50 years ahead of what they're actually manifesting as their plan right now. If you go back 50 years from now, you look at the Spanish flu that was happening. If you look at the Spanish flu that was happening at the time, they're going through the same fucking routine we are now, wearing fucking masks. And the only way they got out of that was actually standing in power saying, we're not wearing these fucking masks anymore. They didn't wait for the government to tell them that. They just didn't wear them anymore. If we do that as a collective, what are they going to do about it? Nothing. They couldn't do jack shit about it. But you have to step in your power saying, enough is enough. And I even took steps before I went to airport to call what procedures I had to do to not wear a mask. Then it's up to me to decide if I really wanted to follow the procedures or not to wear a mask. And right now, what they told me is I have to visit their doctors. Mind you, I don't even know who those doctors are. If they're even doctors, who knows? I don't know. But this is the choice I made for myself. I'm not going to call ahead. They want me to arrive even earlier to the airport so I can sit down with their quote-unquote doctor to determine if I can wear a mask or not. So I waste all the time for a 50-50 gamble to see what their doctor's going to say. And I could guarantee the doctors are told in advance that I'm going to have to wear a mask. So it's just reinforcing their rules and regulations. That's all it's designed to do, folks. They're all coordinating with themselves to make sure their agenda is pushed out. It's not for your better good, it's for theirs. So they can profit off of your hard earnings and whatever. So they can profit off of you. So when I go to the airport, I'm not going to go in advance to see the doctors. And I will bring a mask along with me. But when I'm there, I'm not going to do it in a rude way where I'm going to be disruptive. But I'm going to talk to everybody there. Just ask them general questions. Just so I can bring a little bit more awareness. And that's all I do all the time, is bring more awareness. Because the more we're educated, the more we can empower ourselves. That's what I do on a daily basis, is help people empower themselves. That's what my coaching is all about, is to help you to be empowered. So that you don't fall into their traps and lies. So that you don't need their power and control to feel empowered within you. Because when you're empowered within you, you don't need anybody else to approve you. You just live your life to the best, and you make the most of it. Then you can make choices for yourself that serves your best interest. Nothing else but you. You are important. I say that all the time. But it's about time you start feeling and actually living it. Because I can see it 24/7. It won't make a difference until you're living it. So that's a challenge for you, Cancer. I know you Cancers, because I'm one myself. We can tend to care more about what people think than, and we'll actually surrender our own power so that other people can feel better about themselves. But it doesn't work, Cancer. It doesn't work. It's an old lie that we've been telling ourselves for years. And actually, we tend to make it an excuse more than anything. We say, well, no one will listen to us because I'm just a Cancer. I don't have the big booming voice that, like, I don't know, whatever you think in Aries. We'll say in Aries. I don't have the big booming voice and energy that Aries has. No one's going to hear me like an Aries. That's just your lack coming forth. That's your own lack coming forth, Cancer. If you have that lack mentality, that's the thing that's holding you back from being prosperous in the world. That's what's holding yourself back. You and you only. Only you is holding yourself back. So going back to even my experience that's going to be coming up here. Like I said, I'll have my mask along with me. And the reason why I'm going to do that, because mind you, I'm not doing it unconsciously here. The reason I'm going to do it, because it's their place, right? It's their place. The airport owns their business. So if I want to do business with them, I respect their policies because I want to do business with them. I'm not doing it because I have to do it for COVID. I'm doing it because that's their policy. And if I want to do business with that particular airline, and it's not just one airline, it's all of them, because they surrender their power to the government, because they're in a place of business, right? And the government has told them, like, if you want to maintain your business, you have to tell people X, Y, and Z to have your business up and running. And then the airport's like, okay, we'll do that. Because the people that work for the airports don't have any power within them. Because if they did, they'd tell the government to fuck off. Because this whole COVID has been nothing else but dwindled down to a common cold and flu. Common cold and flu has been around for a long time. And yeah, we could get ill from it. It's been proven that we could get ill from it. We also have this wonderful thing called an immune system. Now, if someone has a compromised immune system, then it's up to them to protect themselves. It's not up for the rest of the world to surrender their well-being so that they can make those small minority feel better. They should be protecting themselves. They should be taking measures to protect themselves. They shouldn't be expecting everybody else to do it for them. That's part of that lack mentality. The lack mentality thinks that everybody else should do the work for them, and they become codependent on others. That's why the rest of the world surrenders to power so well, because they have that lack mentality. They don't even cherish their own ability to make the right choices for themselves. So they depend on the government to do that for them, which the government even called out these calls before they even had all the facts themselves. So it's all running on a fear program. Then all they had to do was continuously feed into the fear so that people continuously surrender their power to that fear because it's already on, people already surrender the power to that fear. So all they have to do is continuously feed fear into people so that they continuously bend their knee to them. And I'm tired of people surrendering their power so willingly. Aren't you, Cancer? Aren't you tired of surrendering your power so willingly to someone that tells you to do that? When you know well enough that it's not even factual what they're doing now. Since all the data has come through, this COVID-19 has been dwindled to be less contagious than a common cold or flu. It's less contagious than a common cold or flu. And we didn't do all this bullshit with the common cold and flu. So, since we have the data now, we should be demanding our freedoms that they stole from us through this whole fake demic. So I say fake demic because it was built on a bunch of bullshit lies. That's all it's been built on. It was a bunch of bullshit lies. Yet people continue to surrender their power to these bullshit lies. And we should be fucking sick of it. We should be sick of it by now. If you are, you say no. You don't surrender and say, oh, I guess I'll do it because everybody else is going to do it. Well, if you have that mentality, that's from your own lack. Like I said, I don't wear a mask on a daily basis. You know, I have people around me doing it all the time. All the time. No, it's your choice if you want to or not. But if you allow someone to tell you to do it, and you don't want to do it, then why are you? If someone's telling you to do it, and yet you don't want to, then why are you? Why are you? And what do you want to card you for your Cancer? Because you showed up in your own reading. And if I draw the next card, it's going to be about you again. Here, I'll just bring it up for you. Look at that. Cups. If you're not all about your cups, Cancer, I don't know if you're Cancer then. Because you're highly connected to your emotions, right? And what I'm seeing in your Cancer is don't get emotionally involved if wearing a mask is to your best interest or not. Because you're using people's emotions to manipulate them to surrender their power to wear a mask. Just say, oh, do it for everybody else's best interest. Why are you so concerned about everybody else's best interest if you have to actually disempower yourself for everybody else's best interest? That's just another sign of codependency, thinking that you have to surrender your power so someone else can feel better. That's their issue, not yours. That's their issue, not yours. I know you as a Cancer, you deeply care about other people, but you don't have to surrender your power to show them how much you care. In fact, do the complete opposite, because that's what they need as a leader, to show them how they can be in power, not to be disempowered. That's how you show that you care, Cancer, is to show others how they can be in power, not be disempowered. That's how you show you love to other people, Cancer. So find the courage within yourself, Cancer, because I know you do have it. Because I'm here showing you that you can do, because I already told you that I was born on July 1st. That's a Cancer energy. But it's also on the cusp of Gemini. So that's why I share both those energies. And then my person is a Gemini. So Cancer. Find somewhere within you where that leader mentality is within you. connect to that part of it, because I can guarantee it's coming from your essence. Because your essence is always whole and complete. It doesn't lack anything. And it's empowered because it's full of energy. It is pure energy. And your essence is not from this world. Therefore, your essence can never be manipulated or controlled from any experience that you have here in this human experience. It's only your ego that can be manipulated and controlled. Only your ego. And that's where they're manipulating and controlling people, is from their ego, from false perceptions that they're projecting through lies on television, through programs there, to social media, to use any platform they can to control the masses with. And if they could control the majority of the mass of people, then they know that they'll self-police themselves. But they have to constantly throw out that false perceptions, or I'll just label it lies. They have to throw out those lies first, and mind you, continuously throw out those lies. So people are programmed on those lies, so then begin to question it, because they've been controlled through those programs for years. And I'll name an example, CNN. There's been generations that people have thought that CNN has had their best interest in mind. And just recently, Trump himself says, like, I don't follow CNN. I don't follow them. One thing I do really appreciate about Trump is that he doesn't surrender his power to anybody easily. He doesn't just say, oh, I guess I'll just do what everybody else is doing and don't really use my own head. No, Trump is imbalanced too. He's too much in his ego. But with his ego, he's actually showing people how they could be empowered too. But they'd rather find some way to be in their comfort zones. So people will stay in their comfort zones. So then you throw out Biden, who's going to throw out everything that people want to hear. Everything that people want to hear, so they can stay in their comfort zones. Because Trump brought them out of their comfort zones, which challenges them, which is challenging. That doesn't feel too good at first, because you actually have to put some effort behind it. Instead of just willy-nilly going about life without using your head. We have a head for a purpose. We have a brain there, right? We talked about that first, Cancer. So what I'm encouraging you, Cancer, is step in your own power instead of allowing other people to control and manipulate you. That's what I'm encouraging you, Cancer, to do, is to step into your own power so that people can't control and manipulate you. And that's what Ultimate Coaching Package is all about. So you can actually be in your full power so that people can't control and manipulate you, so that you feel the best that you can. And that comes from your essence. It comes solely from your essence. Well, Cancer, I love you a lot, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.